Let's get ready to grumble!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the Royal Grumble. I'm your host, Graeme, and sitting in the corner to my... What? Oh, he's not here, is he?
No, after he suspended you last week, we've now suspended him.
Why have we suspended him?
Because he made some comments online.
Is he? I thought he was currently in Europe, like renegotiating Brexit.
Kind of, but it got a bit, inflammatory, I think is the word to use.
He got into an argument on Facebook, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like a middle-aged woman arguing with their son's flatmate about a washing machine, which might have happened in my previous life.
It's an enjoyable. I sent you the full transcript.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it.
Where he was arguing with people who took everything he said quite literally, and he tried to make like an analogy about, we could vote to burn babies, but that's not necessarily right. And they literally thought he meant he wanted to burn babies.
Yeah, the irony was certainly lost on them people.
Yeah, but we had to suspend him because he did go online and say he wanted to burn babies.
Right, so if you're a new listener, my name's Daryl. I don't want to burn babies. Across the room from me is Dan. Say hello, Dan.
Hello.
He also doesn't want to burn babies. No. Graeme, who's not here this week because he wants to burn babies. He's the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going from burning babies to sad news. I can't think of a way to link it.
Oh no. Yeah.
We lost a wrestling legend.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yeah. I like Big Jim.
It made me so sad that when I got sent the picture that I posted of the Hart Foundation, all in black and white apart from Brett.
Yeah.
Like, that is mental to think about.
Yeah.
Like Jim, I think Jim's the oldest of them all. He must be. Like, I don't.
No. Well,
I could see the cogs turning.
Yeah. I was thinking, well, yeah, but probably, yeah.
If they were all alive, Jim would be the oldest, and he's the first last to go. And that it's just crazy thinking about it. But Jim the Anvil Neidhart was like massive for me as a kid because I loved the Hart Foundation. Like Bret Hart was my first wrestling love, and I obviously went back and watched all the Hart Foundation and everything like that. And then when the Hart Foundation came back in '97, that was massive for me. Still probably one of my favorite factions of all time. And it's gutting that we've lost him this week.
Who? Who?
Gutting that we've lost Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Who?
Oh, I realised what you... It took me a second.
Yeah, he also played who?
Yeah, he had some weird moments in WCW.
No, WWE, that.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was WCW. I thought
Mass Wrestling called who? It was Jim Neidhart in WWE.
Oh,
during the New Generation era.
I had it in my head that it was a Dungeon of Doom thing.
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe they had a rip-off, but yeah, in WWE it was called Who and it was Jim Neidhart, which I read was meant to be a rib against Hogan, but I couldn't work out how it was the rib. So I don't know if it's true. It's Vince's mind, isn't it? So like when I read it, I was like...
It was a black mask.
Oh, yeah. That's a good shout. No, but like my first experience with Jim the Anvil Neidhart was the Hasbro figure of him in what can be only described as blue tracky bottoms. It was from when he was the New Foundation with Owen Hart, who had purple tracky bottoms on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I never had the New Foundation figures. I had the original Hart Foundation Hasbro's.
You didn't. Jim Neidhart never had.
Didn't he?
No.
I had a Jim Neidhart.
I've had like an LJN version. I don't know if you had a Hasbro, you only had the blue and yellow tracky bottoms.
See, this is what you bring.
Yeah.
I had Hart Foundation figures when I was quite young. I remember that.
Yeah.
And it was pre-Jax.
Yeah. So they might have released bendy ones, but they weren't Hasbro. I don't know. I never had the bendy figures.
I must have had the thing, because I remember having a Jim Neidhart figure, and it definitely wasn't a big Boss Man figure.
Yeah.
Because the figures look very alike.
It's just the beard cut off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my first experience with Jim Neidhart was like, oh, this is a bit rubbish. But then I saw him on telly, and I was like, I probably booed him because I was a kid. But looking back, he's meant. And then, I mean, I was on Shawn Michaels' team during the whole Click versus Hart Foundation thing. But like, obviously, I like the Hart Foundation, and like, he wasn't the most important member of the stable version of Hart Foundation, but he was still an important. He was a solid stable mate, weren't he? Like,
yeah. he was a vital cog in this machine.
Yeah.
And then as a tag team, it's kind of like the prototypical tag team where he was the powerhouse, Brett was the technician. Brett takes the heat, he comes in, fire and all that. It's what made them such a great team because they were so different, but they worked well together. And obviously, like brother-in-laws and like everything to do with the Hart family is kind of sacred to me.
So the thing I like the most about Jim Neidhart, right, out of everything, is
I know what you're gonna say.
Do you?
You're gonna talk about his t-shirt and
yeah, right. If only we had somebody that could say wrestler fashions. Oh, we don't need you, Graeme. Done it, pal. And it were in key. So Jim Neidhart, proper carny wrestler. He got given some free tracky bottoms and a free t-shirt that said WWE 2K15 that were ironed on like his mum had done it, or he'd got Helen to do it back in day, and he just wore them forever.
I enjoy him on Total Divas.
Does he wear them on Total Divas? Of
course he does.
Yeah.
But I enjoy everything where, because Natalia is one of the most awkward and unlikable people in the world, I think. Like,
your dad's dead and you're awkward and unlikable.
I mean, no, she's obviously like really nice stuff, but the character she portrays on Total Divas, she's very awkward and weird and stuff. And her mum and dad, like Jim Anvil and his wife, play like the weirdest parents.
Yeah.
Where he just kind of sat there and like the time when Lana shows up at the house, so he decides to show her how to shot put and things like that. He played that role perfectly as well. Like he's such a great character, and there's been loads of clips going around online, and I think my favourite one, apart from the one where someone's edited a 30-minute video of him laughing, it's just the same laugh, just looped for 30 minutes, is when Owen Hart won King of the Ring in 1994, and Jim the Anvil was the one who put the crown on his head, and before he did it, he treated it like it was, I don't remember exactly, I should remember this thing, but in Indiana Jones, when he's got to take the thing off the plinth and put the bag of sand on to replace the weight before the big boulder comes on, he treats it like that.
I think it's the Holy Grail, mate. Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail.
It's not called Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail. It's like Temple of Doom or
It's the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, mate. You know, where they're all aliens.
Yeah, so he grabbed the crown and jumped to the fridge.
Yeah.
But no, like the way he approaches the crown like it's the most sacred thing ever, and then carefully puts it on his head, is just brilliant little sort of work that I always really appreciate. But yeah, I'm very sad about this, and Heart Foundation forever and all that.
So moving on. There's no smooth segues for this. Let's just draw a line under that, and let's
get
meh. Oh well, rip in everyone. So I'm quite glad I'm back this week because there's a couple of stories I want to talk about.
It's like they knew.
What?
It's like someone knew.
Yeah, the universe.
Like, oh, Daryl's back this week. His suspension's up, so we need to load up. So he's got some stuff to really rant on, especially when Graeme, the host, isn't there, and he'll stop him from talking about this stuff.
So first, let's start nice and easy. It's a nice little softball. It's progress. The Great Royal Grumble. See, I can do it, Graeme. Right. So it's Progress did a US tour, or they're doing a US tour, or it's happening.
It's finished. The tour's finished now. People are back home. I've not been able to follow the tour that well because results are hard to come by, and there's a part of me that wants to wait till it's all on demand as well, because I will sit there and watch all the shows.
Yeah.
Especially leading up to Wembley, and considering the shows had the free and in thing for the main event at Wembley. I don't know what happened on the last night, so I don't know who's still in it for this Sunday's show. It might be next Sunday, whenever the next Camden show is. Anyway.
So,
Chicago.
So they were in Chicago. Jim Smallman, he's on microphone and he's like doing his bit where he tells a few jokes and talks to the crowd, and he's saying, "Oh, Chicago, it's the home of famous wrestlers such as CM Punk." The crowd booed and chanted Colt Cabana.
I mean, it's lesser of two evils, isn't it?
Wait, this is the same crowd, or the same kind of crowd, that anytime they have any bit of disdain for anything that happens in WWE, they chant CM Punk, or at least they did at one stage. Now they don't like CM Punk. And I assume it's because of the whole lawsuit thing which you talked about last week.
Yeah. I mean, they're both kind of idiots, aren't they?
Is CM Punk all in?
It'll be fun for on commentary when Colt Cabana's going to call it like it's the best thing ever. I hope so for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's all in, is he? I don't think
Yeah.
he's coming out to set up a match at New York, is he? Which I really wish he would.
Probably not. It's
No.
kind of funny that like at All In, Moose is there, but they didn't spend the money on CM Punk. But I understand it at the same time.
I don't quite get what you're on about there, mate. Because Moose probably cost 50p. To be honest.
It's really strange that like Moose is treated like it was treated like a big deal in Ring of Honor, and then when he went to TNA, he's treated like he's in the main event scene there in Impact. It's ever since that time when I was really making an effort to say Impact, and you guys kept going, but it's TNA though, isn't it? And
Well,
now I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah,
now.
but it's always going to be TNA, mate.
Yeah, but I've just remembered another thing about one of the other match announcements for All In.
Why don't you talk? Well, let's talk about that then instead of Moose.
Well, I just want to point out the fact that Moose is treated like a big deal in all these companies, but yet at Manchester in Manchester's Progress show last June, went down to. We always stand on the balcony when I go to Manchester shows, and I went to Lou, went to check out merch, and I'm just stood next to Moose. He's just there hanging out. He's there as a fan, and I just found that really hilarious. That former NFL star and current.
Why was he in the country? What was he doing?
I think he was doing some other shows, and he just went to Progress to say hi and stuff. But
Do you think he took his gear and begged to get booked?
oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? That was the show that was main evented by War Machine, who are now the War Raiders.
Yeah.
Versus Mustache Mountain, that was just absolutely stunning. But yeah, Moose was just sat at the back watching the show, eating his broccoli and rice from his little tub.
Yeah, he definitely took his gear, didn't he?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, but then if he didn't, that'd be worse because what's the wrong rule of being a wrestler? Always have your gear on you.
Yeah, but also don't be a beg, innit? Oh, please book me. Right.
It depends if you want to be a bit like.
No, because
Why not?
one of Jim Smallman's pet peeves, because I've listened to his podcast before, and he says that like if you're a wrestler and you meet him, he prefers you to just have a chat with him rather than asking to be booked.
Yeah, 'cause it creates an awkward situation.
Yeah, what I ask Moose. You
We need
can't.
free thumbs. But yeah, on All In, because All In's next week.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'm guessing we will be recording before it's on. And then I'm having everyone over here to watch All In.
Graham's not invited, is he?
I invited Graeme.
He's not coming though, is he?
Probably not.
He's not
You
invited.
don't like indie.
No, he's not
wrestling, does
invited.
he?
Yeah, he's not invited.
as
You're
much
not
as
invited to our indie crew.
You're Flip Gordon.
He doesn't even get that, Graham. You don't even get our joke. God.
But did you watch Being the Elite? I know you
Yeah,
watch
of course I do,
occasionally.
mate.
Yeah, so
The elite, the. See, I'm a fan.
did you see this week's the latest one where they announced Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr.?
Yeah.
So just for the people listening, as they announced it, so it was Kenny Omega sat there going like, "Oh, I'm so beat up after the G1. Like, oh, we've got just some like, are we doing a 6-man or something? Take it easy." He's like, "Oh well, us two and Kota are doing a 6-man. We've got another match for you." He's like, and it comes up saying, "Kenny Omega in a special singles match." He's like, "Singles match? Oh, so I'm opening this something then. Surely you're not going to treat that hard." And it comes up, Kenny Omega in the main event. Like, no, I'm not doing a main event. I can't do a main event. I've got a cracked heel, for God's sake. So it comes up, Kenny Omega in this special semi-main event. Like, okay, I'll take it, but who am I against? Like someone easy, come on and stuff. And it comes up eventually saying Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr. And it's just him staring at the camera going, the hardcore guy from TNA. It's just the way they've been hyping these matches on Being Elite have been so interesting. Just the whole Marty Scurll versus Okada build as well.
Yeah, because they keep saying because he's a junior that he can't beat him.
Yeah, it was him well on this week's show, where he's like, "Well, Ray, you beat the heavyweights, you're the guy," and he's like, "Oh, I'm against Okada." Like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I mean, you must have some advice. You beat the Big Show. You beat all these heavyweights." Like, "Yeah, but Okada." And he's like, what you're saying is like, this isn't the word he uses. You're saying I'm screwed. Like, yeah, you're screwed. Thanks, Ray. It's just playing up to that. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to All In. And a few of the events leading in on StarCast as well look quite good.
I've got an issue with StarCast. They're selling the events at approximately $80.
Yeah, it was $60 until a few days ago, until like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, still $80, mate.
But for that, you get 4 days worth of stuff. And I love before you got here, I was watching a shoot interview I've watched 6 times. Officer and Gentleman with Bill Carr. And that's gibberish to you, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But there's a great story involving how he pooed himself in the ring while having an NXT match with Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns beat him by him leg dropping him. and pooing himself on it, and then having to roll over and go, pin me. And just rolling out of the ring like 2 minutes in. And just weird stories like that. It's a great shoot. But I love stuff like that, and some of the panels look really interesting. Some of them are just like War Games retrospective. It'll be interesting, I guess. But like the one I really want to see is the Death of WCW panel.
Dear, who's on the panel?
So it's Eric Bischoff versus R.D. Reynolds,
Right.
who wrote Death of WCW.
Yeah, okay. Have you listened to the Eric Bischoff podcast about the Brian Pillman thing?
I haven't listened to that one yet. I've listened to most of the others.
So, and the reason why I bring this up is because there's a book written. I can't remember what it's called, which is great radio because I can't even plug it. But it's a book about Brian Pillman. It's written by one of the podcast guys from the UK. Like, not as good as our podcast, clearly. And I've not read it, but all told, it's meant to be a really good book. It's got good reviews. It's meant to be really accurate for what people have said. So Conrad Thompson uses the book as a reference point against Eric Bischoff Pillman's career in WCW. And pretty much every point, Bischoff tears down and says isn't true, and says, how does he know that? And all this. It's like, well, it's obvious how he knows it, mate, because he's asked people. Like, it's everything. Bischoff's like, well, how could you possibly know that? And then he just tried everything you could say, sky's blue today, mate. In fact, is it though? Is it blue? Can you prove it? And they're like, look outside. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I enjoy Bischoff's podcast, but at the same time, like, I'll always like the first episode I listened to was the one where he starts by saying Hulk Hogan was made by the AWA, not WWE, but then claims that Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko were all made by WCW, not ECW.
Yeah, I think if you were a more reasoned person, I'd be more interested in listening to it. But I'm not interested in paying to listen to Eric Bischoff cry about a book R.D. Reynolds wrote 10 years ago or whatever it was, maybe even longer.
Kevin Sullivan's on that panel as well. I'm guessing Kevin Sullivan will fall asleep. That's his thing, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, like, Bischoff tends to discredit Sullivan quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, Bischoff likes to take credit for the ideas he perceives as good.
Yeah.
And let Sullivan take credit or discredit whatever for the ideas that Bischoff perceives as bad. So anything Dungeon of Doom, it's all Kevin Sullivan's idea, which I believe because, like...
He's the face of it.
Yeah.
It's hard to dispute.
But, like, then the NWO, that's all Bischoff's idea. And it's like, well, I'm not disputing that he went over to Japan and saw that invasion.
Yeah.
But did Sullivan not write any of the angles for that? No? I don't know. Maybe not. But
he did give Sullivan credit for the, like, when the NWO came in and lawned out Rey Mysterio, that episode. He gave Sullivan credit for that one. But he still kind of said, I had this great idea to this and Sullivan added ideas.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, right.
So anyway, I don't want to spend $80 on it. So I think that what I'm going to do is illegally download it.
But it was $60. They also did a deal where you got a piece of the all-in-ring canvas as well. Yeah. And that's when I was considering it. I was like, that'd be kind of cool to own. Like, 'cause it's...
I've got enough tat.
I like tat, though. Like, literally on our table now is the tat that I've not had a chance to even unpack from Wrestle Crates.
Yeah.
I've got 3 micro brawlers and 3 DVDs. And then underneath, I've got some pop vinyl figures that have been out of the packet, but I had to take them off my desk because I needed it to look more professional as a suck-up at work.
Yeah, but then you've got what you've got is unopened tat. I've got a lot of tat, mate. I don't need more.
We are recording in a studio that is like, it's a decent sized room, but yet we are confined in the space. Like, I've got my leg up on the chair you're sat on because there's not much leg room for me.
Listeners, if you want to get a vision of how it is, do you remember that angle where Vince is sat in the ring and Sable puts her legs on his shoulders? That's how he makes me sit when Graham's not here.
Yeah. Apart from, like, I ain't shaved my legs today.
No.
Let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, so talking of sexual harassment, let's move on to the next topic.
It's a while since we've got, and this word is definitely not chargeable. So,
is it not? Well,
it's an anatomical word.
What, penis?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course we can say that. It's a well-known feature on the podcast.
Yeah.
Penis Cast. Penis Cast is back. Right.
And it's very rare we get a repeat. I was going to say a repeat offender. Has Randy Orton had? Apart from the photo that went round of him, RKO in Seth Rollins.
No, I don't think Randy Orton's featured on Penis Cast.
Hasn't he?
I don't think so. So, Randy Orton's feature on Penis Cast is not exactly a funny penis pic that he sent to somebody online. What it is somebody was going back and listening to old MLW podcast episodes and heard Court Bauer allege, and this is all allegedly, Randy, before you get lawyers involved. Court Bauer alleged that Randy Orton used to whip out his Johnson and put his hand on his Johnson and then go up to a new writer while said length is still hanging out and extend his hand, not his length, and say, "Are you going to shake my hand?" And then obviously they're like, "Well, I don't really want to shake his hand because he's touched his penis with it." And then, but then he's like, "Oh, you disrespected me. Do you want me to go tell Triple H and Stephanie you disrespected me?"
It's a bit weird. It's a weird power play, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, in hindsight, wouldn't it be funny to just like grab his hand and lick it and just be like, "Yeah, screw you." It'd be weird. It'd give you a reputation, but you'd get one over on him psychologically there, I feel.
I mean, I never thought about grabbing his hand and licking his penis, mate, but, like, you're right.
Not lick his penis,
Oh.
lick his hand.
Oh, right. Oh.
Like, the hand that he's putting out to you to shake and thinking you'd be all creeped out about shaking his hand that is... I mean, it's kind of the thing we were talking earlier about, like, if I know food has been cross-contaminated because I'm vegetarian, if it's been near meat...
So you wouldn't shake Randy Orton's hand because it's been near meat? Is that what you're saying?
But, like, if I know it has... Then
well, yeah, he's walked up to you with his meat in his
Yeah,
hand.
if I don't know, it's fine. And how many people's hands do you think you shake who haven't washed their hands after they've been to the toilet?
Do you know what one of my number one pet peeves is, mate? Do you know when you go to a public toilet and then to get out of the public toilet, you've got to pull the handle?
Yeah.
Yeah, because people don't wash their hands, so then I've got to judge which is the least germ-ridden point on the handle.
For a brief period, they've not had in there the last 2 or 3 shows, but when I go to Fight Club Pro shows, they have a guy in the toilets sat like with the toilet roll, so you have to go up to him to get stuff to dry your hands with. So I wouldn't wash my hands because I didn't want to have to deal with it and him like trying to get £1 for handing me the paper towels that are free normally anyway. So I took hand sanitizer with me to shows, so I could like as soon as I got out of the toilet, like there's no door to get in and out. It's like a corridor thing, and so I'd use the hand sanitizer. I've not had to do that last 2 shows because he's not been there, but I know you're paying with that one.
Yeah.
But then how many people do you think like when you've shaken hands with anyone, like especially when we're involved in wrestling, like you shake hands with people all the time. How many of those do you think have like driven there in the jogging bottoms with hands down trousers? So if you don't know about it, it's fine. But then if you want to get a psychological edge on someone, you take his hand and you lick it.
So what you're suggesting is, if you've been sexually harassed, then sexually harass them back.
Well, it's a power play, isn't it? Like, I'm not saying like this is what I do now, but if someone was trying to power play like that and you knew it were a power play, and you'd be like, you know what, I could do something about this. But it's Randy Orton. Like they changed the drug rules for him, so
yeah,
I'm kind of thinking that way. So I'm thinking, well, how do I get one back over on him? You grab his hand and you lick it, like full on, like, yeah, and then just go, "Nice to meet you, mate."
That might work, but
he might punch you. But then the whole story of him punching you is, why did you punch him? Because he licked my hand. Why did he lick your hand? I don't know. Well, I know. It's because he walked in with it on his penis and figured, I'll power play this new writer by getting him to shake my
right, mate,
dirty penis.
No hand. Little nerdy writer is going to do that. The reason he's doing
Freddie Prinze Jr.
What, Shaggy? And not even the good Shaggy, not the black Shaggy, the one that's like wears a green t-shirt and pretends to be
a mate. Shaggy.
What?
That was Matthew Lillard.
Which one was he then?
He was the blonde one, like the Ken doll type one.
Oh, I don't even.
Who was like dating. I don't remember the other characters' names, but
Daphne.
And Daphne. He was the one who's. I know, like so. Velma's the glasses girl.
Yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar played Daphne, and then the guy who's like the handsome one, who's not Shaggy, like the guy who actually knows what he's doing. That's who Freddie Prinze Jr. played. The Shaggy was played by Matthew Lillard.
Oh, right.
I only know this because I watched the Twin Peaks panel recently, which he was on because he was in season 3 of Twin Peaks, and someone actually came up and asked him to do a Shaggy impression. They asked him to do his Twin Peaks. He does a really good scene in Twin Peaks season 3. They asked him to do that in Shaggy's voice.
Great. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about Shaggy, but he's not even Shaggy.
No, he's not.
Fair enough. So Randy Orton's a bad man, allegedly.
And not a bad man like the cool like Grime bad man thing.
He's not a bad man like Rikishi. He's just
No.
he never did it for The Rock. He did it for the.
He's in the
cock.
Dave Meltzer body shaming category, rather than the.
Does Dave Meltzer body shame? Have we got time to get on and talk?
I can talk about it very quick because I have to be careful not to go full on it because I haven't got song 2 queued up. But Dave Meltzer said a load of stuff on his show about Peyton Royce not being as good looking and being a bit fat and ash as on main roster and stuff. And Peyton Royce called him out on it on Twitter, saying the women in your life would be ashamed of you. Like, good on you, Peyton Royce. Screw you, Meltzer.
Yeah, but I don't think Meltzer understands people, to be honest.
He especially don't understand women.
Yeah.
Especially not women. Screw him.
So I just thought of this, which I just need to bring up. So we're not going to cover World of Sport today, because what's point? Everything that's ever been said about it has been said. All I'm going to say is, when you watch the next episode, pretend that Alex Shane is actually Alan Partridge. just pretend and listen to some of the things he says. And he's got the air of Partridge about him.
Someone made a good point about Alex Shane's commentary on World of Sport.
It's that air that he's breathing in.
Did you ever watch the AAA show that they did for a little while where Alex Shane and Dave Bradshaw commentated on it?
No, but that sounds mental.
It was awful. Because you had like AAA wrestling, it was really good. And it was literally like, like trash bag wrestlers that was big on YouTube for a while.
Yeah.
Where they don't really know what's going on, they just make fun of it. It was Dave Bradshaw and Alex Shane doing that and getting themselves over and not talking about like one of the best lucha companies in the world. It was mental. You've held the AAA big like mega champion title, whatever it's called. Like
in the immortal words of Steve Carino, I don't know any money. Possession is 9/10 of the law. So for that period of time, I was technically champion.
Yep. And then Jeff hit you with guitar and pin you.
Yeah, he won it back, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Dean Ambrose is back and he's on roids, isn't he? Can we say that?
Probably not. Allegedly, he's on roids.
Allegedly.
But he came back with the boulder shoulders and he shaved his head.
Yeah.
So he looks awesome. Like, genuinely, I saw the picture and like, he looks like a proper main eventer. Like, he looks like just the biggest badass main eventer going.
Do you not think it's funny how 9 months rest and recuperation will allow you to look healthier? And
he's not been sliming people on TV or anything for 9 months. And I mean that is in the sense that he slimed Seth Rollins once and he looked like he needed a shower all the time. He actually looks like he had time to shower. He got his hair sorted out. He went to the gym a bit. He's come back and he's beefed up. Like, I'm into this. Like, I'm hoping like we get like big badass Dean Ambrose now.
Yeah.
We won't,
so
because they don't have to book people.
He's back in time for the second biggest show of the summer.
Yeah.
Do you want to run down the biggest show of the summer?
I do.
Cool.
Load up the card because I have to look away from the microphone to read it. I've just realised that.
Oh, this is going to go well.
If I zoom it in, can you read it from there?
Are you actually on wind up? Listeners, I apologise for this.
I can't angle my neck.
Listeners, if you could see what's happening now, it's like Stephen Hawkins is in the room where he's sat. That's the only way I can describe it.
Oh man, this is what I've
Joey Janela.
Joey Janelas Lost in New York, sold out pay-per-view. It's gonna be great.
Is it a pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Fight. It's night. But the actual show is sold out. The only way to see it is on Fight TV, and I'll probably be purchasing it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be able to watch it live like I did Spring Break because it's not on a semi-reasonable hour for me.
Does this clash with NXT?
No, it's the night before.
Okay.
Because the main event of the show features what could be possibly Matt Riddle's final indie match as he takes on Pierre-Carl Ouellet, PCO, on his big redemption tour.
So PCO is going to kill him before he goes to NXT.
Yeah, that should be good because PCO's been calling him out ever since this whole comeback started. Like, just posting those weird videos of him doing bench presses while getting cattle prodded and getting barbed wire wrapped around his head and stuff. Just going, Riddle, I'm coming for you. Just these weird promos. So I'm quite excited for that match. So we get Joey Janela versus Jinsei Shinzaki. Hakushi from WWF.
Yeah.
That'll be insane, I'm guessing. It's not as insane as the Great Sasuke match, but it's still that's really cool because Hakushi had one of my favourite like mid-90s WWF matches. Him versus Bret Hart from the First in Your House. Classic. We got... Let me have a look. Oh, yeah. So, at one of the Fight Club shows recently, one of my friends walked to the queue and he mentioned he was going to SummerSlam because he's on holiday in Cuba and then he's flying to New York for a few days because his changeover was in New York and he figured, I might as well just fly to New York, stay there for SummerSlam, and then fly home afterwards. So when you're flying into New York? Thursday. Do you know Joey Janela's got a show on? Has he? Like, yeah. What matches are on? Nick Gage, MDK, versus Meng. Before I'd even finished that sentence, he was on his phone booking his ticket. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, one of the toughest guys in wrestling history versus Meng. Nick Gage, I'm massive on Nick Gage now. I was talking before about the American Rana barbed wire match between David Starr and Joey Janela. One of the things that really made that match is they put Nick Gage and Matt Tremont, two like proper seasoned deathmatch guys, on commentary, and it put it over 10 times where they were like, you know, we've done some messed up stuff. This is messed up, but I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And it really like put over like how brutal the match was. Especially Nick Gage just being like doing his like 10-minute promo at the end of the show as well on commentary. But that'll be really crazy. We've mentioned this before. Nate Webb versus MJF with special guest appearance by Wheatus to play him out to the ring. Chris Dickinson, the Dirty Daddy versus Teddy Hart. Who knows what to expect from that?
Teddy Hart, he's all right now. We'll come on to that in a minute. You carry on doing the rundown.
I don't know what the bottom match is, but then there's a ladder match, which is the Grab the Brass Ring ladder match, which features Tony Deppen, Gringo Loco, Eli Everfly, Jimmy Lloyd, and G Raver. So it's a bunch of like CZW and GCW guys, really. GCW guys strictly now. And that'll be ridiculous. Eli Everfly is the guy who, in the opening match at New Orleans for the Joey Janela show, finishes match with a double underhook Canadian Destroyer pile driver from the top rope.
Okay.
When pile drivers were banned. But the way other wrestlers justified it was, it happened so quick and so ridiculous, no one believed it happened, so he didn't get fined.
Great.
So yeah, it'll be a ridiculous show. Like, all the spring break shows have been, like, both of them have been really fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
What else is on?
What?
That weekend, what else did you say is on?
Oh, we'll get on to that in a minute, mate, because you said about Teddy Hart. I just want to briefly mention that...
Put my neck in a natural position now.
I just want to briefly mention that recently I ventured onto the YouTubes and I rediscovered MLW, and they've got their own weekly show.
Yeah, I've seen a few clips of it. I watched the...
Have you seen the Battle Riot?
No, but I do want to see it.
The Battle Riot's on YouTube. That's what I'm going to talk about. So it's... The way it was sold, I think it was oversold, because they were talking about it being like a combination of a street fight and a Royal Rumble, because like you had competitors come down every 90 seconds, they can bring weapons, they can either be eliminated by over the top rope or pinfall.
I know who won it, and it plays into a joke from when he does the show with Brian Alvarez.
Okay.
He always claimed that he was the king of the hardcore battle royal, because he'd like really hurt someone in a hardcore battle royal when he wrestled before he went to UFC. Okay. Where he'd smashed a traffic light over their heads.
I've got hair in my mouth. It's horrible. Sorry.
Have you lost my mustache hair?
I don't know. It's frustrating.
I said that really cryptically, but cryptically, it won't matter. Like, it's thingy. His name's gone from my head now.
Tom Lawler.
Tom Lawler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom.
But not enough wrestlers brought weapons down for my liking, to the point where you might as well just not have that rule in. But other than that, it was a good show, and if you're only going to watch one MLW show, just watch that, because it was decent. That's my review.
You got Shane Strickland on there too, who I'm really high on. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He just won the
one problem is Loki's the heavyweight champion. Yeah, I hate him. So moving on.
I'm saying.
Let's run down SummerSlam before we actually do a good SummerSlam, which is 2008. So there's 13 matches altogether, but I think two of them
all day.
I think two of them are pre-show matches.
Okay.
So we've got first one on the pre-show is the B Team versus the Revival for the Raw Tag Team titles.
Go on.
Are you not bothered about that, mate?
I mean, they've done no with Revival, really, have they?
Here's another pre-show match for you that you might enjoy. It's Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega versus Rusev and Lana.
That's on the pre-show.
according to Wikipedia, I get all my information from Wikipedia, mate.
I saw Rusev's promo from SmackDown. Stuff that I'll age the show because I mentioned on the G1 thing that we were recording early in the week anyway. On SmackDown last night, Rusev cut the best babyface promo going. Him and Lana cut a pure babyface promo on them too. And it was awesome. And it's on the pre-show.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Daniel Bryan versus Miz.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan was just announced for the 2K19 showcase mode.
With playable American Dragon American Dragon character on it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
From Velocity in 2003 when he faced John Cena.
Right.
But that Daniel Bryan, like Bryan
Ring of Honor
Danielson.
Daniel Bryan.
He's literally called American Dragon Bryan Danielson.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Finn Balor versus Constable Baron Corbin. Right. And other week, I were a little bit down in dumps, and I'm like, do you know what? I think I like New Japan more than WWE now and all this. And I don't necessarily take that back, right?
I don't. G1 were awesome.
But when you've got solid caliber feud of Finn Balor and Baron Corbin, I feel like I'm going to eat my words here. Because, do you want to watch G1 or do you want to watch Baron Corbin, mate? See what I mean? Like,
there's a reason SummerSlam's a week after the G1. Like, let people settle down. You've had 3 match of the year contenders in a row, headlining 3 shows over a weekend. Let's simmer down and let's watch SummerSlam.
It's different. It's a different product for a different audience.
Yeah.
But Finn Balor, he was, as Prince Devitt, he was literally the wrestler that got me watching New Japan.
Yeah.
Like, him and the Bullet Club, but it was him, essentially. And
that he was one of the few who bridged the junior to heavyweight gap. He faced off against Tanahashi, still junior and stuff.
My point with it is that to watch one of my favourite wrestlers, I've got to watch him wrestle Baron Corbin.
You've got to watch him wrestle Baron Corbin again.
Yeah, again in a suit.
Yeah.
Why is he wrestling in a suit?
I mean, Constable Baron Corbin is 100 times more entertaining than I like wolves and my hair is weird Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time...
Yeah. So then it's Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy for the US title. I did assume at one point Randy Orton would be coming out with his penis out, but if he's under investigation, maybe not.
The hand instead of the crotch.
Yeah.
I know where that hand's been.
This is a pre-show match as well. Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight title.
Drew's taking the belt.
I've whatever.
I've watched more 205 Live than I've Raw or SmackDown recently.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily believe what I just said, but I hope that's what's true. That's what's happening.
Mate, they could turn this belt into a spinner belt. I won't care. Like, what?
205 Live's getting good. It's been very good the last few weeks.
You said this about TNA, but then me and Graeme rinsed you for it. Don't come at me with purple brand being good.
Mustafa Ali is absolutely awesome.
Right. Carmella versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title.
Becky should win.
Okay.
She won't. But Becky should win. Enough with all this already. Becky is your best woman. Like, Charlotte is awesome, but Becky's the one everyone wants to get behind.
Yeah, Charlotte's probably a better heel anyway, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the real main event of the whole weekend is the Intercontinental title match. Seth Rollins with Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler, the champion, reigning defending champion, with Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, a bit too Scottish for my liking, isn't it? He's not from Dundee. Dundee. Did it?
See, we don't need Graeme.
Dundee. He's going to be going mental.
You bordered on doing an impression of the shopkeeper in Still Game there.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Oh, Graeme will know what that means, and he'll be angry at me for pointing that out. Anyway, do you think Ambrose is going to turn heel?
Yeah, but I can't decide if it's going to be before or after. I don't know if it's going to be like to cost Rollins the match, or I did see something online earlier which I thought was a pretty good or interesting way of doing it, is maybe he cheats to help Rollins win, and then that's to get him closer to the belt. So then he turns on Rollins and then gets a shot at the belt, which I can see either, really.
Yeah.
I'm not against them ideas, but I don't necessarily like Dolph Ziggler, but I hate him less than I did before his association with Drew McIntyre.
You can tell Graeme's not here.
Yeah, because I can get this out without. I'm wanting Drew McIntyre to come out of whatever situation this is looking meant, because I really like Drew McIntyre. So whatever happens, as long as Drew McIntyre looks strong and isn't hurt by it, I'm fine with.
Keep Drew strong.
Yeah. Braun Strowman, Money in the Bank holder versus Kevin Owens. It's a singles match for the Money in the Bank contract. Should Strowman lose by disqualification or count out, he will lose the contract. With that stipulation, does Strowman lose by disqualification or count out, causing Kevin Owens to win the contract, and then later in the night, Brock Lesnar wins, but then Kevin Owens comes out and cashes in?
He's not going to cash in on Brock, is he?
I don't know.
He's going to cash in on Roman.
Do you think?
Right, if Brock wins that match again, I don't know what I'll do. Because I could threaten all sorts of stuff, but I probably won't do half of that stuff. But it'd be absolutely ridiculous if they don't do it now. Because they've threatened to do it. Get it, like I said this the other week, get it out of your system. Have Roman win that match. So we're getting to that match now. Have Roman win that match and get it out of your system, and we can all move on with his lives. It's been too long. You're like me, 8 years ago when I couldn't get over a relationship and it took me about 2 years to come out of that funk. WWE is beating my time on that. They need to quit it and just move on.
So I'm glad you've previewed Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship match. Yeah. What about Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, pal? You're a bit angry there.
I'm fed up of it. I'm really sick of it. As cool as the stuff, I have gone back and watched the Paul Heyman stuff, and as cool as it is, I'm sick of them two fighting. We know Roman's going to win eventually. Stop pulling out at the last minute and just do it.
Yeah, this week they did. Paul Heyman came down, pretended to try and be on Roman Reigns' side, and then he pulled out, I think it was pepper spray or something, sprayed him in the eyes, and Brock Lesnar came down and beat him up. But I'm not totally sold on Heyman not turning on Lesnar, to be honest.
Well, he weren't gonna, were they?
No, I mean, I mean, it might. I still might think it happened. It might happen at SummerSlam. I don't know.
Yeah, but
unless Reigns wins, and then Kevin Owens comes down to cash in on Reigns, like you said, and then Heyman sides with Kevin Owens, maybe.
I could see that.
I don't think I don't think the pair works necessarily, but
it'd work for that moment.
Yeah.
And we'd be moved on. It'd be great. But yeah, I don't see Braun losing the Money in the Bank truck thing. But then again, when we did all this, I was against him winning it because I don't think that's the right way to have him win the title.
No.
It's just a bit. Well, it's a bit Kevin Owens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Braun should be beating people, getting a title opportunity after destroying everyone else, and destroying a champion. They've built him that way. Don't have him cheap shot his way into a championship.
So he should be quite dominant, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
Like the Bludgeon Brothers.
Hammers.
See, we don't need him. We don't need Graeme. Bludgeon Brothers defending their titles against the New Day. I feel like we've seen this match a million times.
We have.
Okay, let's not talk about
it.
Yeah. So I don't know which one of these I'm more excited for, these next matches. Is it the singles match for the WWE Championship between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe that I've seen several times in TNA, but I don't think I've seen a singles match between these two in WWE.
Not I can think of.
They may have had one, but I definitely don't think I've seen it.
Yeah.
Or Alexa Bliss defending her title against Ronda Rousey.
Ronda's winning the title. I'm pretty certain of that.
Yeah, but what if that bat flies in?
That was good.
There's always the added element of what if the bat comes in.
I was really impressed that there was a bat flying around ringside.
Yeah.
It made me think, when people were saying about it, I was like, is Gangrel?
It might be.
We're getting Gangrel. That'd be a nice shocker, wouldn't it?
Kevin Thorne, mate.
I'd rather have Gangrel. I like Kevin Thorne, apart from... Have I told the DPW story on here?
Mate, you told a story the other week about how you knew he was on a show with Jimmy Savile, which you never told us before. So, probably not.
This will take us to the break, kind of, because we're running a little bit on time.
A lot.
But I'll just quickly say, AJ vs Samoa Joe should be good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
AJ is currently the longest reigning SmackDown champion of all time.
What, longer than the 2004 JBL run?
Yep.
Meant.
So he's losing against Mojo. That's my logic on that one. So the story.
So wait, so you're saying they're going to put the proper belt, not the rubbish red one they made, the proper one, the one with the Bruno Sammartino lineage, the actual belt, on Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
Well, I'm all for it. I just want to confirm that.
Yeah, I'll say that.
That's fine.
So my Kevin Thorne story. I got to work with Kevin Thorne quite a bit in like 2008, 2009. And I used to work for a company called DPW in Leeds, where a friend of the show, Chris Brammer, was the general manager for the company. Kevin Thorne showed up. He was working on a show in Wakefield on the afternoon for UKW, in fact. And he showed up at DPW to, get a booking.
Oh, a bit like Moose at Progress.
Yeah, kind of like Moose at Progress. So Toga goes to him. Toga was the guy who ran DPW, saying, like, I can't afford your wage for tonight. Like, we've got everything planned for the show. I can't just put you in the show. And he's like, well, I'll take a cut rate to do something else on the show for a future booking. And he's like, all right, we'll have you, so Chris was the righteous Christopher Brammer, and he had it weren't called the Righteous Army, but he had a group of like heels to protect his heel champion, Juice CJ Banks, who's on World of Sport now.
Oh yeah, CJ Banks.
Yeah. And it was Juice versus Doug Williams as the main event. Doug Williams was currently the X Division champion, so wasn't allowed to do a clean job, but he was facing the DPW champion. He was allowed to do roll-ups and stuff.
Okay.
And for that to happen, Chris needed to interfere in the match. But then Kevin Thorne gets booked in as the special guest enforcer to make sure they don't interfere, so they've got to do a load of stuff. So match starts up and everything, and ringside is our buddy Reigns, who's the big enforcer of the group.
The big dog.
Big Dog Reigns, and Christopher Brammer, who's the GM of the company. So early on, Reigns trips up Doug Williams when he's running ropes. Simple spot. And Kevin Thorne tries to get the big babyface pop by going, you're out of here. And so he gets the big pop. And Reigns is there selling it. Brammer's there going, no. He's like, so he tried to sell a bit of shock and he's going, wait, no. Like, I can't. And he's like, so he's trying to communicate with Kevin Thorne, you can't kick us out. Because, like, from what we knew, Doug wasn't allowed to chop clean. There had to be some shenanigans for him to lose because he was X Division champion. So he's trying to communicate with Kevin Thorne, and Kevin Thorne's just getting his pop and he's loving it. So Chris is there eventually, like mouthing loud enough that if you were looking at him, you'd tell what he was saying. Yeah. But if you weren't really paying attention, he looked like he was just protesting. And he goes, first off, I'm the GM. If anyone's kicking anyone out of here, I'm kicking you out. 2, you need me for the bloody finish. Where he took a German suplex from Doug Williams. So Kevin Thorne, trying to get his big babyface pop, nearly screwed up the finish, which would have meant they'd have had a champion of that company who wasn't coming back for any time soon because he lived in America. Good old Kevin Thorne. That was before he powerbombed Chris Travis off a stage and messed up his elbow and everything.
And
PW.
I don't know your money. And on that note, join us after the break where we'll talk about more 2008 shenanigans.
We will.
But it'll be Summerslam 2008 after this.
Before the renaissance of British wrestling.
Just turned against CC3.
Before the revolution. Before the progress. There was one. One company who pushed the boundaries. One company on the lips of British wrestling fans. One of the most controversial companies in British wrestling history. One company bringing pro wrestling dream matches to the UK.
Dearly beloved, we're gathered here tonight to celebrate the life of PW.
The Royal Grumble brings to you the in-depth look at the company that brought them together. The company that brought eyes from around the world to a small town in the north of England. 1PW, version 1, 2005 to 2007.
Coming soon.
Subscribe now.
We do not owe you money. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Do you feel refreshed after that break?
I do.
Yeah. So we're talking about SummerSlam 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get on to talk about SummerSlam 2008, how are you enjoying 2008 so far, mate?
I'm enjoying it, but the feud I was most looking forward to seeing, as good as it is, another feud has definitely eclipsed it from what I'm enjoying the most.
Well, what
And
are you
we'll talk
enjoying?
about it.
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
It's on the
Okay.
show, so.
Right, so this show kicks off with Jeff Hardy versus MVP.
This is the feud I was talking about.
Is it? Yeah.
MVP and the Hardys. No, it wasn't.
On commentary, we got a bit of a pop quiz for you, mate. But like an impromptu Christmas quiz.
We've been talking about the Christmas quiz this week, haven't we?
Yeah. Yes. yes, we have.
Oh, dear. I've got something else to suggest in what we were talking about as well.
Okay,
Just
this is all mystery things that the listeners don't know about. Anyway, so on commentary, they say Jeff Hardy is making his first SummerSlam appearance since 2001.
Okay.
Can you tell me the match he had at SummerSlam 2001?
So it was the month after he faced RVD for the was that a title match at Invasion?
I don't remember.
I feel like it was the Intercontinental title, but it probably wasn't.
Well, there's a title involved in the match he has at SummerSlam, so I assume it was a title match.
I'll say Jeff Hardy versus it'll be someone from WCW. It's in part of the Invasion angle.
Yeah.
I can't think. I'm gonna say Lance Storm.
Incorrect. So it was a ladder match versus RVD for the hardcore title.
Okay, yeah. So
So it was
so
basically a
close,
rematch.
yeah. But with a ladder in it.
Yeah,
With ladders, kind of works.
in a way.
Yeah.
So this match, there's a pretty mental spot in it. I don't know if you. So MVP's in the corner, and Jeff Hardy's MVP's just a little bit away from the corner. Jeff Hardy runs up to him. MVP overhead belly to belly suplexes him into the turnbuckle, and then Jeff Hardy lands on the top of his head.
Yeah. Well, this is coming up to. So, does MVP leave in 2009?
Yeah.
He asked for his release not long.
He goes to New Japan, doesn't he?
Yeah, he went because it was strong style gangster, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he'd
Were
been
he the first Intercontinental Champion?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
He's also competed in the G1.
Fun facts.
Yeah, him and Shelton Benjamin have both been G1s, and they were both involved in this match. I genuinely remembered that fact as I was watching the match.
So you should have done a pop quiz for me and been like, how many wrestlers on this card have been in the G1?
I don't know the full card.
Well, Undertaker's not been in G1, has he?
No, I'm just trying to think quickly through it. I think it might be only 2, just off memory, but anyway.
Oh, sorry, mate. Tony Atlas is on card later, so he were in G1.
Was he?
I know that was shoe size woman that they were licking. They're the face stompers right there. That's my favourite shoot interview of all time. Where they make him look at shoes and describe which ones are face stompers.
Oh dear.
Whatever floats your boat, but like I don't need to know about it, do I? Right, so our MVP, he was stood in corner. This is another thing. Jeff Hardy ran up to him, and he went to do that weird. What is it? So Jeff Hardy sat in. MVP. I'll start again. MVP's sat in the corner like he's going to receive a stink face or a Bronco Buster in that position. Jeff Hardy runs in, and he goes through that thing where he kind of springboards off the bottom rope to get momentum up, and then to kick him. So he gets the momentum up. As he comes back down, MVP lifts his feet up and boots him across the ring.
Oh, that was good actually.
Yeah, and he goes flying. Oh, this is mint.
It's amazing going back and like, never really appreciated MVP that much, but I'm starting to appreciate him.
Yeah.
Battering people.
So then, finish up match. Jeff Hardy goes on top rope for a swanton. Shelton Benjamin just appears outside.
Yeah,
He just
Shelton
comes
Benjamin
from
appears
nowhere.
for reasons.
Yeah. So then Jeff Hardy dives on him. Then he runs up back to the top for a swanton, but MVP moves. It's a drive-by kick and pins him.
Yeah.
And then Does Matt Hardy come out? No.
No.
No. Jeff Hardy comes out later, doesn't he? To save Matt
Yeah.
Hardy. Yeah. Spoilers. So then backstage, Maria interviews Santino and Beth Phoenix, and there's
The
a bit of
unibrow.
there's a bit of tension, isn't there? Because they're former lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you believe that WWE, as part of this comedy angle, made out like all these women were proper hot for Santino?
Yeah. What's wrong with Santino?
I mean, yeah, I'm playing straight into the storyline. He's got the unibrow and everything and looks mental.
Yeah.
And it's horrible to people. So he's playing the character well. They built it up well. But then Maria looks really silly in this thing because surely she should have kind of been like, no, I'm not interested in you anymore. Go away. But instead, she played it up like, he's right. And that's the bit that got me about this one.
Well, yeah, but the women's evolution hasn't happened yet, mate. So the women all want the men, don't they?
They're just hungry for it.
Yeah.
You see how she's dressed?
So, do you want to know who's not as progressive as Jeff Hardy, as Jeff Jarrett even, but more progressive than somebody else that's sexist? It's Kofi Kingston, mate, because it's an intergender match.
Yeah, and it's so weird, a WWE match where the men and women are allowed to be in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, which I've got an issue with that, but we'll get onto that. So, intergender IC and women's title match. Mickie James and Kofi Kingston, the women's and IC champions respectively, versus Beth Phoenix and Santino Marella. And they on commentary it says intergender means men can fight the women. Okay? The match was made by new Raw general manager Mike Adamle, dubbed an Adamle original. I'm sure there's going to be more of these.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know you're trying to be good. Because I did say, what's the over-under on Daryl?
All I said was it was an Adamle original. And Mike Adamle was okay with men fighting the women. They're facts. They're facts that have happened.
But then how they play it in the match is like Santino gets battered by Mickie James. You don't really get much of Kofi and Beth Phoenix.
No, because he'd absolutely kill her.
I don't know. Beth Phoenix is a beast.
What?
Like she's like a big.
Let's move on.
No, you're gonna make that sound like negative. I didn't mean it negative.
We'll just move on, mate.
She destroyed Kofi Kingston.
Do you not like women? Is that your issue?
Do you like Dave Meltzer?
Why don't you like Beth Phoenix? What's wrong with Beth Phoenix?
Beth Phoenix is awesome.
Is
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, well, that's fine then.
She's a beast in a good way.
Okay.
Not the Scottish Leisure Centre beast way. Can we ever get through a show without without mentioning that?
just for the listeners, when Dan mentions a Leisure Centre beast and then mentions Graeme, let me just clarify: Graeme has not, or will never ever will be, and we are not implying this. He is not the Leisure Centre beast. I just want to clarify that.
He's gonna be more annoyed about the fact that we keep saying Leisure Centre beast than you clarifying it's not him.
But it's not him. Can you just tell you it's not him? Because the listeners...
Yeah, Graeme is not the Leisure Centre beast.
That's fine. Why can't we keep saying Leisure Centre beast?
Because Graeme is going to be... like he's gone on holiday because we suspended him. He's done an Alman Abdi on us. And he's gone away. And he's going to be sat, like, you know, in the sun, enjoying his time, putting this on for some reason. And he's going to hear the words Leisure Centre beast over and over. And he's going to ruin his day.
He's going to get a tan, though. Be right.
It's not a tan, it's blood pressure.
So moving on. Beth hits Mickie with a glam slam for the win after Mickie James DDT'd Santino. So your winners are Beth Phoenix and Santino Marella.
And because of that, Beth Phoenix is the women's champion and Santino wins the Intercontinental title by not being involved in the finish.
Yeah. But I do like how he celebrates
Oh, yeah.
the finish. And he's literally going, it was all me. It was all me.
And also, this is the title win that leads to the honker meter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So the next up is the angle that we all came to see, really. This is the one that, do you know previously where it says, men can fight the women? Right, so Shawn Michaels is coming to the ring to let the WWE know his future on his career. And he's accompanied by his wife, Rebecca. So they play a video package. And the package has got the history of the angle, basically. And it's very heavy on the eye injury, and it's playing up that Shawn Michaels is going to have to retire, or it's hinting he is, and then he comes down and he says that the doctor recommends he's got to retire, and it's compounded with all the other injuries he's had, and Rebecca's there behind him, like looking sad and everything. They say it's time to walk away, so he's beginning his retirement speech, and there's showing members in the audience crying, which is good, and Rebecca's crying. And then Jericho comes down wearing his suit. And then it's on then. It's on because he's got his suit on. And Jericho says he won't allow Shawn Michaels to retire due to injury and wants him to admit that Jericho is making him retire. So Shawn says he admits it. And so Jericho also says he wants Shawn to admit it to his kids that Jericho made him retire. So Shawn says he admits it and will tell his kids it's because of a vile, worthless and selfish human being. And then Shawn Michaels looks at him dead in the eyes and says, "Tell your kids that Daddy will never, ever be Shawn Michaels." And I loved that so much. I forgot he said it. And I was like, oh, that's meant. What a line. So then Rebecca goes to pull Shawn Michaels away. Jericho kind of pulls him back and goes to punch him in the face. Shawn Michaels ducks, and Jericho punches Rebecca in the mouth.
The more important bit about this is he punched her in the mouth.
Yeah, what do you know that previous bit that I read out where I said, men can fight the women? Yeah, he punched her in the mouth.
He legit punched her in the mouth, and as much as he's trying to hide it, you can see that he's like genuinely like, uh-oh.
Yeah, because he's thinking, Shawn's gonna...
I just punched his wife in the face for real.
Yeah.
And her lip swells up really badly, and she's got blood in her mouth and everything, and it's kind of...
Yeah, but as much as it wasn't probably meant to happen quite that way,
it's very uncomfortable.
Does it not make
watching.
the angle a lot better?
Oh yeah, it makes the angle a lot better, but it's such uncomfortable viewing.
Because if he hit her and there was no mark on her face or anything, it wouldn't have had that. It's because instantly her lip swells and there's a little bit of blood. It's not like it's gushing blood. There's a little bit of blood and her lip swells. And it's bad for her. She weren't expecting it, and she's not a wrestler, which we'll come to in a minute. She's not a wrestler, but it works. And even though Shawn Michaels at the time probably was annoyed, I think if you look back on it now, bearing in mind he knows she's okay now and everything, there's no permanent damage. I think looking back, he'd think, that's a good angle, that. So, going back to Rebecca.
I mean, he probably thinks as well, I wish my wife hadn't got punched in the face, but at the same time, I can see what it brought to it, and I'm not saying he's doing cartwheels because his missus got punched. I'm saying now 10 years down the line, in hindsight, if he looks back at that angle, bearing in mind he knows his wife's okay, he probably thinks, it was a good angle. If you looked at it from a neutral perspective rather than it being his wife. It's the best angle Chris Jericho ever had, and it's one of the better Shawn Michaels angles. Yeah.
So, talking to Rebecca, pop quiz for you. You like WCW. Which Nitro girl was Rebecca?
She's Spice.
No.
No. Jesus.
Do you not even know which Nitro girl she were?
I'm trying to remember the name now.
Do you not like women?
Oh, god damn it. I don't remember all the Spice Girls' names.
They weren't called Spice Girls.
Spice Girls, Nitro
Sporty
Girls.
Spice, Ginger Spice, and it's not them.
Whisper
Spice.
Whisper.
Yeah. Fun fact for you there. Next match. Oh, let me just tell you, right, as well. This is that kind of the start of the trend where the commentators don't talk during big angles, and I hate it.
And it worked completely for that.
Mate, well, it's fine if you like it. I hate it.
It made it more real, which made it more uncomfortable to watch, which helps it at the time. But
do you know if Jim Ross didn't talk when Mike Tyson and Steve Austin were in the ring?
There's a difference here. At the time, Jim Ross was at the top of his game. Michael Cole, as good as he can be, like we've seen that with the WWE shows and the UK shows and stuff, if he talked over this angle, he would have ruined it. I don't think he's as good a storyteller as Jim Ross is on commentary. I
mean, all Jim Ross did was shout Tyson Austin, but yeah.
Yeah, but because of how Jim Ross is, that puts it over, whereas when Michael Cole did it, everything he says sounds like it's fed to him through a headset.
At this time, it probably was, to be fair.
Yeah.
ECW Championship match. Mark Henry, the champion, with Tony Atlas versus Matt Hardy.
This goes about 5 seconds, is it?
Yeah, so Matt Hardy hits an early twist of fate and goes for a pin. Tony Atlas pulls Matt Hardy out and starts to beat him down. And then Jeff Hardy runs in and makes a save. And they double suplex Mark Henry outside the ring for some reason. And that's it. And they make a big deal about the Hardy Boys kind of being back together, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we should give this as much time as they give ECW at the time. It's clear they're giving up.
Yeah. Just something to point out from what you talked about last week, by the way, while I remember. You were on about the commentary teams, and when Mick Foley leaves, he's not on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, they did the angle with Edge, didn't they?
Yeah, Jim Ross and the Taz are together for SmackDown. So anyway, next match.
Taz says a lot of weird things in this show and messes up his words a lot. And that's rich coming from me. I stumble my words quite a bit, but I'm not a professional commentator.
Maybe
I used to be, but not now.
Yeah, maybe he caught that thing that Mike Adamley's got.
Moving on.
World Heavyweight Championship match. CM Punk, the champion, defends his title against John Bradshaw Layfield.
So this is probably the best title defense CM Punk had in this run.
I don't remember, but if you say so, yeah.
Because the match with Batista was good, but it was me. I've got one thing from this match.
Is it the Mama Joanna jacket?
No.
Oh.
Something is said on commentary by Michael Cole that as soon as he said it, I paused it and repeated it out loud to myself several times so I wouldn't forget it. Because that's my tactic. Whenever I have to remember a phone number or anything, I'll repeat it out loud to myself until I think I've got it. So I did it for a phrase that he says in this. He says, "Martial Arts World Champion CM Punk." Now, that was 10 years ago. In hindsight, we know he's nowhere close to a martial arts world champion. In fact, he couldn't even win a round against a journalist.
Yeah, maybe Michael Cole would have a better shout at beating him.
He's ripped nowadays.
Yeah.
Give him a shot.
Hench. He's got the same guy that Dean Ambrose has got. Yeah, I don't really have many notes for this match, to be honest.
It was a decent match. I mean, at the time I couldn't see it, but now looking back, you can see that JBL is getting ready to wrap everything up. Because we're only, 5, 6, about 8 months until he finishes his career.
Yeah, he's going to retire on that sweet Mama Joanna money, innit?
Yeah. He has a match that's only slightly longer than the ECW title match as a retirement match.
Yeah. So, next match, it's the more important heavyweight title because the more important champion Triple H is defending against the greatest Indian superstar that the WWE will ever see, and I can't foresee that ever changing, the Great Khali, with Ranjin Singh.
Jim Ross throughout this match is really trying to get over the idea that Triple H hates losing more than he likes winning.
Yeah.
Really trying to get that. Like, he must say it about 15 times in this match. He really goes for it. Other than that, I don't have much to say on this match either.
I've got a pop quiz for you, mate.
Okay.
So, who is Ranjin Singh? Do you know his real name?
No, but he's a writer.
His real name's Dave Kapoor. His occupation is a writer.
Yeah.
What's the odds on him inadvertently touching Randy Orton's penis via his hand?
Well, if he'd have took my advice, he wouldn't have had to deal with that.
Yeah, maybe.
Would he? But yeah, it's probably high odds in it compared to considering the stuff Randy Orton did at the time.
Bearing in mind Ranjin Singh got on TV, so he must be in good books with people.
Yeah. He didn't refuse to shake Randy Orton's hand, I'm guessing.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did, but I don't think he did. Batista versus John Cena, which was the first time that had ever happened.
Yeah, that's crazy to think they went this long without doing this match.
Different brands, mate.
Yeah. So the big thing with this match for me, the first 10 minutes, I was really bored. It was really slow going. By the end of this match, it was really good. And the crowd were going crazy for it. Like, this is like peak WWE, like 2008, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, John Cena and Batista, two proper main eventers, going at it, and the crowd are going absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Like, it turned out to be a really great match towards the end. I enjoyed it. It's still called the FU. I'm keeping count on that one. We're only a month into PG. and it's still the FU. I can't remember when it changes to the attitude adjustment, but it's got to be soon, hasn't it?
Has the 5-knuckle shuffle changed? No,
No,
that
it's still
stays
the
the same. No,
5-knuckle
what's the other one? The STFU, has that changed?
Yeah, no, that hasn't changed yet.
Okay.
That's still the STFU, isn't it?
No, they call it the STF now.
They just call it STF. Or?
Yeah.
I pay attention. But yeah, this turned out to be a really great match. I was really surprised by the end of it. And also, I couldn't remember who won it.
Who won it?
Who won it. See what I mean about stumbling over my words. And I thought, well, I know who they value more out of these two. John Cena's winning. No, Batista gets the win.
Yeah.
A really, really great match. Like, genuinely. Really enjoyed it.
Maybe they knew that Cena were going to win at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Cena beat Edge and Big Show at the next WrestleMania.
Oh, is it the one after he faces Batista then?
I think so.
Fair enough.
Because next one's 25. Yeah, it's because the finish is him doing the attitude adjustment to Edge and Big Show at the same time. Like,
how would you know
gets
after WrestleMania 25, mate?
sorry?
You're talking like you were there, pal.
The best thing is, the finish is he gets both of them on his shoulders, attitude adjustment on Edge while still having Big Show on his shoulder, and then Big Show on top of him and pins him, and then goes straight out the ring to all the guys in the front row who had "We Hate Cena" shirts,
Yeah.
and posed in front of him.
I like it. I like it when he used to do that. Final match, main event. But before we do the main event, just because I've only seen this because I've got the card up here. It's got the pre-show match, which obviously, or the dark match, because there's no pre-show on the network for this. It's one of La Familia. That's why I've saved it for now. So it's Big Show defeated Bam Neely with Chavo Guerrero.
Bam Neely wrestled.
Well, that's why I read it out to you, because I didn't know he actually had a match. But yeah. On the
until we
dark
started
match.
doing this, I forgot he existed as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So anyway, main event time. Hell in a Cell match. Undertaker versus Edge.
So I said to you earlier, we came for Jericho Michaels this year. Edge Undertaker is my feud of the year.
Yeah.
I've loved this entire thing. And this match, apart from one thing I'd forgotten in this, like in my memory, it didn't go down like that. I think I'm having a Mandela effect thing with a part of this match. But one thing I have an issue with nowadays, but this was absolutely great. I think this might have been the last, there's one more really great Hell in a Cell match after this one.
Is that the one where Shane McMahon comes off the top?
No, it's the one you saw live, I think. Did you see Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania? No, was it WrestleMania before or after?
I was at 29,
It was before
Okay.
Triple H Undertaker Hell in a Cell from WrestleMania 28.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the last great Hell in a Cell match. This is the one
I
before.
mean, I dispute that because Shane McMahon's come off the top of it, so you can't beat that, can you?
Well, you can, but anyway. Actually, no, there's been another great one. So it's the third last great one. Brock Lesnar Undertaker from SummerSlam, or from Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
That was good. Let's carry on.
There were just a lot of weapons, weren't there?
Yeah, but everything evolved really around tables, ladders, and chairs, because that's Edge's thing.
Yeah.
And it's the thing, like, it's built into his character and stuff, and it's the place he goes. So I kind of like that they carried that on rather than just having a plunder fest. It was tables, ladders, and chairs. The steps were brought in at one point as well.
Well, everything that was in was a callback to something Edge had done to Undertaker, weren't it? So I remember Edge getting put through a table or a stack of tables. Undertaker
Well, that happened at Undertaker's last match.
Yeah. There was a concerto done at one point.
Yeah.
So there were a few different things because they, for the listeners that didn't listen last week or just don't remember, this is set up because Edge cheats on Vicky Guerrero with Alicia Fox, and then Vicky Guerrero reinstates the Undertaker and puts him in this Hell in a Cell match. I think they kiss and make up after Edge and Vicky. I think.
I feel like they do.
Yeah,
but
he's in there to be punished, isn't he?
But Edge was absolutely brilliant in the build-up to this, where he asked Mick Foley for advice on how he beats the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And Mick Foley says to him, like, you don't need me for advice. You're the guy who can beat him. Like, it's inside you already. He's like, oh, you're right. And then paggers him.
Yeah.
And the bit where he's on the ladder saying, "I understand now," and crushes Mick Foley. And he does that in this match as well.
And then Mick Foley goes to TNA.
Yeah. I understand now. You're garbage. Go away.
Yeah.
Could be NWA World Champion. NWA were long gone.
Yeah, he were NWA champion then, mate.
Yeah. But anyway. So yeah, this match was absolutely great. And the build to the finish as well, where it was The Undertaker, like, one by one, doing everything back to Edge that Edge has done to him in the past. But then, so once the match is over, The Undertaker's won. That's when we get all the weirdness. And I don't remember any of these weird cuts. That's the thing that bothers me.
Yeah, so
This weird production stuff.
Undertaker wins. He leaves the cage. And he walks up the ramp. And then he goes to do that thing what he used to do where he used to stand at the top and then put his arm up in the air. But then he looks up at the Titantron and sees Edge kind of staring and getting up. So he turns around quite angrily and walks back down and beats him down some more. Then brings another ladder into the ring and chokeslams him.
Through the ring.
Yeah. Well, could have been chokeslam on the last ride.
It would chokeslam.
Yeah, chokeslams him.
Because it was two ladders and he had to position them in a way that he could do the chokeslam to the spot they needed to do it on.
Yeah. So he takes a while positioning these ladders.
Yeah.
And then chokeslams him through the ring.
But all the while, the camera's cutting into this other footage, like this weird distorted footage of all these like past Undertaker like vignettes. And stuff.
Well, it's a lot of the American Badass. You know, the girls doing the poems and stuff. Is it poet? Yeah.
Yeah, and like all that stuff, and he's here and all that stuff. I don't remember any of that. I just remember him chokeslamming through the ring. I
remember the chokeslam in the fire.
Yeah.
I don't remember the cuts.
Have we been caught in the Mandela effect?
Mate, I think I live in the Mandela effect.
I generally think we've both been caught in the Mandela effect this, because I'm pretty certain I've never seen that happen before. I'm pretty certain back in the day that all sorts of stuff wasn't on. I know it will have been, but in my head it wasn't. I remember it like just clean chokeslam through. Because there's even
different
a weird
universe, mate.
There's even a camera cut as he's slammed into it. Like the camera changes angles as he's slammed into it, and I remember like very cleanly him going into the ring. And I don't remember why. But yeah, so it kind of like, in my head, it was better. But still, this has been my favourite angle. Like, everything they've done, it's made me remember how good Edge was.
Yeah. You meant.
Yeah. This is the feud that I've really enjoyed most for the year. And it doesn't really get ruined. Because I know what happens after Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho.
What's that, mate?
Isn't it Shawn Michaels, JBL?
So, next week, listeners, we're going to be reviewing SummerSlam 2018. We don't talk about that, mate. You know we don't talk about that. We had a discussion about it before. We don't talk about that feud. Yes, we're going to be doing SummerSlam 2018. I assume we'll talk about NXT TakeOver.
We will.
Which we did in preview, which I only just remembered. You'll be doing a full review of Joey Janela's August break, whatever it's called.
We will have an on the road.
Will we?
Well, we're both going to Rev Pro.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's Summer Sizzler.
Yeah, Summer Sizzler.
Yeah.
Don't play like you don't know. We're taking a diversion to pick you up in Bedford.
Yeah.
So, but you get to see Ishii versus Walter.
Yeah, I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, it's a very big guy and a small boulder man battering each other. Which, how else would you want to spend your Friday night?
Yeah.
Overpriced beers and two blokes battering an Austrian man and a Japanese man beating each other up.
Yeah, I can't wait. So, listeners, join us next week where Graeme will be back to probably police this shambles. No, he won't.
He won't be back next week.
He won't. He won't be back to police this shambles. Excellent news. Listeners, if you enjoyed this week, it's going to be more of the same. Listeners, if you hated this week, don't download next week. We're going to talk about penises, paedophiles, leisure centre beasts. The list goes on.
We might get a small career mode next week. We haven't done the career mode in a while. Leisure centre beast.
Don't even joke about that because he will fly back. He will fly back and put a stop to this.
Basically, when this episode goes up, we're going to get a very angry, salty message about even suggesting doing that because he doesn't even like us mentioning that guy. He's going to be so angry.
Anyway,
and even us explaining it, he's still going to get angry because he can't help it. He will be angry at it.
No, but then he might not get angry because we've said he's going to get angry, and then
then when we see him, he's going to be twice as angry. and he's going to spend 15 minutes as I'm setting up ranting at us for ruining it for 2 weeks.
So, listeners, if you want us to ruin the show, give us a like on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Royal Grumble. If you want us to absolutely tank it, get onto Twitter and tell us that. Tweet us at Royal Grumble Pod. Like all his Instagram posts. That's at Royal Grumble Pod as well. If you really hate us, because Graham's going to hate us more, so we need all your support.
Leave us a salty review on iTunes.
Do you know what, right? I went onto Apple Podcasts. It's called Apple Podcasts, mate. You're not down with kids. And I went on there the other week. In fact, it was after last week's show because Graeme had out a review.
Yeah.
And we've got actual people that listen and like us. And like, because like I joke that nobody listens, but like
people do.
People have left reviews, and I actually want to, and I know I like tech mess a lot, but like I want to say thank you to them listeners.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones where I come on here and be racist. It's just for them. Yeah, I call them my KKK brothers.
I have been asked by a group of fans whether I have any of the stuff I've cut of yours from the show still. And I do, but I keep it in the episode files to which the episode is. And we've done 100 and something. We're like nearly 140 episodes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to go through. And I don't really want to do that.
Thanks. So, Facebook.com/Royal Grumble Pod, Facebook.com/Royal Grumble, Twitter.com/Royal Grumble Pod, Instagram same as Twitter, Royal Grumble Pod, RoyalGrumble.podbean.com.
Twitch.
We're on Twitch.
We need to start doing Twitch.
We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on that one you signed us up for, Spotify. That's what all the kids listen to now. Say goodbye, Dan.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Daryl. Goodbye, Daryl.